Hi, I'm Jeans, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own macrame keychain. Let's get started and gather the materials we need. So to start, we're going to need a pair of scissors. It's important that they're sharp and they work correctly. Test them out. We also need a small comb. It can be any kind of comb for your hair, just as long as it's clean. Some tape to tape down our work and keep it stable. A key ring. This is just a regular one. You can get it at any craft store. And we need 2 pieces of equally long string. These are about 3 foot long. And we need 1 more piece of string, so 3 total. The third one is about 1 foot long. So move your things to the side and begin by taping your work to the table. So I take a piece of tape about 5 to 6 inches long, and I tape it around the opening of the key ring so that your string doesn't get caught or stuck inside there. So you flop that over and tape that to the table. You want it to be right in front of you, so as you're working, your work is coming right towards you. I usually take a second piece of tape and tape that all down so it's a little bit more secure. You want to make sure your work isn't flopping all over the place. So next we are going to make a lark's head knot, and that is a good knot for attaching string onto key rings or a piece of wood. You begin by bringing the two ends of one string together and tracing your hand all the way along to the other side where you'll have a loop, and you put that loop underneath your key ring. Take the loop and fold it forward and down, and then spread it open. Take the 2 loose ends and pull them through the loop, and then gently pull on them down so that your lark's head knot tightens on the ring. It's a very simple knot. It's really useful. You're going to repeat that step with your second string. So again, bring the 2 ends together, run your hand all the way to the other end where you have a loop now, and I'm going to place that loop right next to the other string. So go under the key ring, right next to it, fold it over, pull the 2 loose ends of this string through the loop, and gently pull on it. And then you can kind of pull on them both together, straighten them out, make sure everything is even. So we are going to prepare for our square knot by grouping the strings into our inner core rope and our outer working ropes. So the 2 strings in the middle are our core strings. They don't do anything. We tie knots around them with the working string. So in the square knot, we take the one on the right and cross it over the 2 middle. And then we take the one on the left and bring it straight down over that little tail. And then you bring it under the 2 core strings and diagonally up into the belly of the P. And from the top, you pull it out with your right hand. And then to tighten, I place my thumb on the core strings and use my other fingers to pull the working strings out and up in their respective directions. So just go slow and gentle until you get all the way to the top. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. So now we take the string on the left and cross it over the middle in a like backwards P. Take the string on the right, bring it down over that tail, and then bring the end under the core strings and diagonally into the belly of the P. Hold the core strings down and gently pull your working strings to the sides and up until you get to the top. And that is 1 complete square knot. The first one is 2 square knots on the right and the left. And now we're going to continue alternating. If you ever forget which side you're up to next, look for that vertical bump. See the black bump there? That means we're going to start on the right with our P, and then on the left we go over and then under the middle and up through the P, straighten it up to the top. And that's our third one. Now we're going to start on the left, make a backwards P, take the string on the right, it crosses over and down, and then it goes under the two middle and diagonally up, and pull them to the sides and up. And this is where it starts to get repetitive. We're going to do the same thing over and over, repeating, first on the right, then on the left, then on the right, then on the left. And again, if you ever forget which side you're up to, just look for that vertical bump. And that's where you're going to begin by making your P shape across the middle. If it helps you to have a number in mind of how many square knots we're going to make, for this project specifically, it is about 15 square knots before we switch our inner and outer strings, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. But just keep in mind, if you want to keep going and stop looking at the video and really focus on your work, just stop when you get to 15 square knots. So count the vertical bumps. When you get to 15, stop there and wait for me to catch up and show you what to do next. So as you keep going, you'll notice that your outer strings are getting shorter than your inner strings. So you're going to switch them by taking the outer and switching it with the inner on the respective sides. And now you have two new inner strings, the short ones. You're going to continue on the same side that you would have even if you didn't switch, and make another square knot. Just make sure you don't lose those short strings now. And this time when you tighten it up, you don't have to go all the way up. You can leave about an inch of space if you want. I like how it looks, and it gives your keychain a little break in the pattern. If you want there to be less of a space, you can tighten it all the way, but I like to leave it there. So now you're going to continue alternating. So on the right side you start, and you'll notice that in the first section, whichever side you started on, in my case, it was always the maroon string on the right or the left. Now, it's always the black string. So whichever side where that vertical bump is now, whenever I make that P, it's the black string that begins it. So you might be using different colors, but you'll notice the pattern as you go. So I'm going to just continue now. And at this point, I didn't realize how many square knots I did in the first section, so I went back and counted. I already told you it was 15. You might have done less, you might have done more, but I just wanted to count, and then so I know to make the second section even. I like it to be even. If you don't want it to be even, you could do less or more as long as you don't run out of string. But I wanted it to be the same on the top and the bottom of the keychain. So you're going to keep going. Until you either reach 15 as well, or however many square knots you want in the second section. So I have reached 15 on the bottom half, and now it is time to make a wrap knot with our shorter string that we had on the side. So you begin by making a small loop on one side of the string, like one end of it. And that loop is about 3 inches long. You take it and you place it over all of the strings at the end of your last square knot. I hold it down with my left thumb. You have that little tail sticking up, and then you have a long working end which you're going to wrap around everything. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see the detail. It's going to cross over that tail and then the part where you began to wrap around, and you want to tighten it around there and very evenly and cleanly place it right underneath. So each time you wrap around, you want to place that wrap just below the last one. You don't want it to cross over. You don't want there to be a gap between them. This knot is the ending knot that kind of gathers all of the loose strings together. You want to have a good tension. If it's too loose, it might fall apart. If it's too tight, you won't be able to finish it. You might need to undo this one and try again a couple times if your tension is a little too loose or too tight, and that's okay when we're learning how to do this one. It's natural to have to do it over and over. So don't feel discouraged if it doesn't work out the first time. It's taken me a lot of years of practice. So you keep wrapping around until there's just a little bit of that loop left sticking out of the bottom. And then you take the rest of your loose end and you put it through that loop and hold it secure with your thumb. I use my left hand because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold it secure with the left, and with my right hand I'm going to pull that little loose end at the top, and you can see the string at the bottom starting to go up inside of all of the wraps we just made. So as you pull, it goes in there. Don't pull too hard because then it's going to all come out of the top and undo. So just halfway through the wrap, You cut the end on the bottom. I pull a little more so that piece that was sticking out after I cut it disappears. Cut the top. And then I like to take my scissors and just press that little bit that's sticking out back inside. And you're almost finished. You're going to trim the end of your keychain to the length that you desire for your little fringe. Take your comb and just gently comb out the end of your tassel. This part is really nice. It's kind of a nice little ASMR experience. Feels like brushing hair a little bit. And then after you brush it, it's a little uneven. Some bits are longer than others, so I'll just take the scissor and give it a little haircut just so that it is a little bit more even and it's not like fuzzy on the end. You don't have to go crazy and make it too perfect, but that's good enough. And that's it. That's how you make a simple macrame keychain. There's infinite possibilities for patterns and ways we can kind of alternate this for your own specific style. But this is a really good, simple baseline for us to work with and work off of. And I hope you had fun. I hope you make more keychains and start to create your own patterns and your own versions of this. So thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing your work.